just hilariously unerotic. Stop licking stuff. Get your tongue back. He's licking everything, licking the wallpaper, licking her face, licking her neck. Just stop the licking. It's not sexy. You look weird.
Time now for a look at the best films of the week. And I'm joined, as ever, by Kevin Maher, the Times film critic. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Hugo.
Hello. And Larushka Zadeh, chief film critic at Metro. Hello, Larushka.
Hello, Hugo.
Hello, hello. Today we're going to be reviewing Wuthering Heights, Crime 101 and Little Amelie. So let's start with Wuthering Heights, new film starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. Here's a steamy snippet from the film.
I have not broken your heart. You have broken it. And in breaking it, you've broken mine. So kiss me again.
Kevin, I've read your review. Hit me.
I feel totally spent. I need to do it again?
Do it again, but this time live.
Yeah, live. It's just super hollow. That's the short version. Super hollow, meaningless. I went to the premiere and it was full of influencers and Love Island people, and two of the Love Island people left after 20 minutes. Still walked out, and I thought, uh-oh. If you've lost Love Island, you're in big trouble. And that it's just a long form pop promo. Elordi is so dull. I really struggle with him as a performer. I think he's awful. Margot Robbie horribly miscast. I know it's not a so sexist age thing, but she is 35, so it's really confusing. There's a childhood bit at the start, then you cut to Kathy in Wuthering Heights, Yorkshire Moors, yada yada yada, and she's 35, and it's like, wait, so she spent 20 years not flirting with Heathcliff, and now she suddenly kicks into flirty mode at 35, which I found weird. It's like a quarter of the book. The danger here is that you go down the snooty path of saying it's not as good as the book, and that's pathetic. There's inverted commas around the title. People know it's not going to be the book, so there's an inbuilt defense. Don't be a snob. This isn't the book. However, what it is just fantastically empty and dull, and I'm with the Love Islanders.
Do you generally approve of Emerald Fennell as a concept? Did you like Saltburn and Promising Young Women?
I loved Promising Young Women. Saltburn, I thought, had a bit of a problem. I don't feel like she knows what working class people live and how they exist. And I felt she came a bit unmoored when she tried to do the Barry Keoghan character. But I love Promising Young Woman. Yeah, flawless. So I'm generally Team Fennell, and I'd given this. Wuthering Heights is a favorite book of mine, but I had parked all that, and I was like, yeah, I just want to see what she does in the moors. And production design was horrible and patchy, and just it took me about an hour to understand the topography of Wuthering Heights, to work out where everything was. It was like, I felt like it's one of those films where I don't know if her heart was in it, but I just felt everything was tentative. It was like I should just do a little bit of Charlie XCX, a bit of Pop Romo. I'm not really sure, and she was, as I say, she was hampered with Jacob Elordi. Is hilarious, just hilariously unerotic. Stop licking stuff. Get your tongue back. He's licking everything, licking the wallpaper, licking her face, licking her neck. Just stop the licking. It's not sexy. You look weird. So, can you tell? It didn't quite work for me.
No, I'm getting that. Well, Larushka, look, gothic, supernatural. This should be your jam. Did you like the licking?
I really, actually, I think the licking was a highlight for me. I felt like I had been snogged by Jacob Elordi after watching this film, and that was pleasant. I enjoyed that very much. This is basically Wuthering Heights meets 50 Shades of Grey. And much like, over Christmas when Saltburn first came out and lots of families sat around thinking, oh, this looks nice. It's going to be like Downton Abbey. And then there's all this weird stuff about licking bathwater and peculiar bits. And this is the same thing. Like, I've got a friend who's going, oh, I'm going to take my kids to see Wuthering Heights. You're like, oh, what? This is just going to be so embarrassing. It's got, masturbation, BDSM, hinted necrophilia. It's quite full on. And I did enjoy its boldness at the beginning. Like the beginning, I was like, great. We don't want just another version of Wuthering Heights. This is exciting. It's doing something different. And then about less than an hour in, I was just bored. And it is hot, but then it's just got nothing to it. It's got a lot of trousers, but no talk. Perhaps it's the other way around. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just sort of, it just doesn't go anywhere or know what it's doing beyond going, ooh, hotness on the moors.
Looks so coy, licking bathwater. I'm pretty sure that's not actually what he was licking. No matter. Wuthering Heights is out in cinemas in the UK from tomorrow. Next up, a rarity, a film I've actually seen. It's Crime 101 with Chris Hemsworth playing a jewel thief. Let's hear a bit of the trailer.
There's a courier carrying watches and gems, and the buyer's paying cash, looking at $11 million in one room, 3 of which I'll be taken. Doesn't matter how much money you make, it's never enough.
I'll know when I have enough.
Larushka, I really liked this, even though I've already seen Heat. What did you think?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a sort of less hot version of Heat, but more tepid or something. But yeah, I enjoyed it too. I think it is kind of made for our age and demographic. I'd say perhaps an older millennial audience upwards. It's this very classic story. Yeah, so Chris Hemsworth is a jewel thief. He's a lone wolf with great stubble, and he's a lone operative, and he keeps making all these jewel robberies along the Los Angeles Route 101, which is why it's called Crime 101. And his signature moves are he does all these heists but without hurting anyone because he's a thief with a heart of gold. And on his trail is a detective who's this kind of rumpled Columbo type played by Mark Ruffalo. And also in the mix is Halle Berry, who plays this insurance broker. Also in the mix actually is Barry Keoghan. I keep forgetting Barry Keoghan's in this film. It's great that he is, but he sort of brings something more interesting than might be to just this generic henchman role. And it just felt like it's quite classic. It's got diamonds, it's got heists, it's got great car chases, good stunt work, very attractive leads. I mean, you know, it was not going to sort of rewrite the rule book on anything, but yeah, it was perfectly enjoyable. Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. Kevin, why did you hate this one?
That's so unfair. I'm going to ignore that. You know what? I like the first hour. I like for all the reasons Larushka said. I like, oh yeah, this is, you know, we're getting a quote unquote a reheat. But I think a bit like going into Wuthering Heights, thinking about the book. It's really hard to watch this film and not think about Heat and think about how, as audiences, we've become so weak and so morally bland and ethically careful. And you know, De Niro could kill people in Heat, but Chris Hemsworth, I never hurt anyone. I found that after a while, I was like, oh, shut up. And you know, there's just this safety to it, you know. And someone had to die. I'm not going to give away the end of this, but it felt like the kids' version of Heat. So you know, but about an hour or so into it, I just thought, oh, this is it just felt way too tame and sort of
and too long.
Yeah, 2 hours 20. Also, I love the director Bart Layton. He did one of my favorite documentaries of all time, The Imposter. Did a great film again with Barry Keoghan called American Animals, and he has great integrity as a director. He always seems to be really examining his material and being a bit sort of ironic and postmodern and saying how is storytelling working, and all that was gone. And this was just a very competent, nice looking crime thriller that compares pretty unfavorably to Heat.
I mean, I should say it's based on a novel by Don Winslow, which itself was compared to Heat. So it's not just the film; it's the actual story. Anyway, that's Crime 101. It's out in cinemas in the UK from tomorrow. Finally, Little Amelie, which is apparently a bit different from the other two films we've been talking about. Let's hear a bit of the trailer.
When you are 3, you see everything and understand nothing. Open up. I'm finally endowed with a gaze. And a body, too. What could I do now?
Now, Kevin, only going on the trailer, I'm sensing this is a film both without sex scenes and without a car chase.
Very good. It's also weirdly you've got I know it's a French film, but you've got a horrible American voice doing one of the selling points is it's a Belgian film is the cute French dialogue from the main character, who's a 3-year-old for most of the film. And I just listening to it there, I was like, ugh, I don't know if I can sell it. It feels a bit sort of Disney and weird, but it's a very strange film. You know, it's about the first 3 years of a life of a baby, of a diplomat's daughter in Japan in 1969, and the baby is born in a persistent vegetative state. And for 2.5 years, she is that way. And then there's an earthquake that wakes her out of it. And the rest of the film is her just getting to grips with life around her. It's based on a book. The author is Amelie as well. And I found it sort of just oddly beguiling. It's one of the things where it shouldn't work. And it's just oddly, compelling, great voice. The character sort of, you know, it's sort of mock heroic. You know, things like white chocolate turn her into sort of like Neo from the Matrix. She's a god when she eats white chocolate. She's obsessed with vacuum cleaners. I'm obviously not selling it that well, but it's I would just say a film that you start watching and then after 90 minutes you've seen the whole thing and thinking, oh, that was interesting.
Larushka, I know you haven't seen this one, but I've got a spare 10 seconds, so do you want to pretend you have?
I wanted to see it because it was an Oscar. It's up for Oscar for Best Animation, and it's probably better than the kids' film I saw this week, which was this very noisy animation called Goat, which made my head hurt. But I have to say, probably kids would probably enjoy that more than Little Amelie. It feels like the sort of film that adults want to take their children to and go, look at the beautiful animation, rather than the one that kids get to watch.
That's harsh, but I think entirely fair. Thank you very much indeed, Kevin. Thank you, Larushka.